Ready when you are, Madam Chair.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, fantastic. As chair of the commission, I call this meeting of the Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission to order at 5:01 p.m. This Zoom webinar is being live streamed on YouTube at the Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission YouTube channel. For anyone in the public watching who would prefer to watch via a different platform than they are currently using, please visit our social media at Redistricting MI. Our live stream today includes closed captioning, ASL interpretation, and Spanish, Arabic, and Bengali translation services will be provided for effective participation in this meeting. Email us at redistricting@michigan.gov for additional viewing options or details on accessing language translation services for this meeting. People with disabilities needing other specific accommodations should also contact redistricting@michigan.gov. This meeting is being recorded and will be available at the www.michigan.gov/MICRC for viewing at a later date. This meeting is also being transcribed, and those closed caption transcripts will be made available and posted on the michigan.gov/MICRC website, along with written public comment submissions. There is also a public comment portal that may be accessed by visiting michigan.gov/MICRC. This portal can be utilized to post maps and comments, which can be viewed by both the commission and the public. Members of the media who have questions before, during, or after the meeting should direct those questions to Edward Woods III, Communications and Outreach Director for the Commission at woodse3@michigan.gov or 517-331-6309. For the purposes of the public watching and for the public record, I will turn to the Department of State staff to take note of the commissioners present.
Hello, commissioners. Please stay present when I call your name. If you're attending tonight's meeting remotely, please disclose your physical location when I call on you. I'll start with Doug Clark.
Present.
Juanita Curry. Anthony Eade.
Present.
Brittany Kellum. Rhonda Lang.
Present, attending remotely from Reed City, Michigan.
Steve Lett.
Present.
Cynthia Orton.
Present.
MC Rothhorn.
Present.
Rebecca Satella.
Present, attending remotely from Wayne County, Michigan.
Janice Follett.
Present.
Aaron Wagner.
Present, attending remotely from Charlotte, Michigan.
Richard Weiss.
Present.
Dustin Witches.
Present.
11 commissioners are present and there is a quorum.
Thank you. As a reminder to the public watching, you can view the agenda at www.michigan.gov/MICRC. I will now entertain a motion to approve the meeting agenda.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Witches,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Rothhorn. Is there any discussion or debate on the motion? Seeing none, we have a motion made by Commissioner Witches, seconded by Commissioner Rothhorn to approve the meeting agenda. All in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, please raise your hand and say nay. The ayes prevail and the meeting agenda is adopted.
Chair Zatella,
Yes.
we do have an announcement, or excuse me, a welcome from our hosts. I wish I could remember the name and the status, but I apologize for that. I just wanted to bring that to your attention, and I would welcome. And let's turn it over to Director Woods, who might be able to help us.
Yes, help us.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. We are excited to be at Central Michigan University. Fire up chips! And we want to give a recognition to our host who is here, Erica Johnson, Director of Volunteer Services, to provide greetings on behalf of the university. Erica, thank you so much for being with us, all the time, investment, resources, and marketing that you have done to host the MICRC. We greatly appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Edward. Welcome to Central Michigan University. We're honored to have you all here this evening and to be part of this historic process in the state of Michigan. At this time, I'd like to welcome Maddie Thomas, our student coordinator for civic engagement in the Mary Ellen Brandel Volunteer Center. In her role, she helps us to coordinate all of our civic engagement and educational events for her fellow students here, and she'd like to provide a student welcome as well.
Hello, thank you, Erica. Preparing students for responsible citizenship in a global society is part of CMU's mission. Registering to vote and voting are vital parts of active citizenship, and so is participating in events like this that increase our understanding of our community and the processes that shape our democracy. So I'd like to thank all the students, the community members, and the commissioners for being here tonight, and we're so honored that CMU was able to take part in this historic democratic process. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And we are very happy to be here and we appreciate that warm welcome. So without objection, we will now begin the public comment pertaining to agenda topics portion of our meeting. Hearing no objection, we will proceed to public comment pertaining to agenda topics. Individuals who have signed up and indicated they would like to provide in-person public commentary to the commission will now be allowed to do so. Please step to the nearest microphone when I call your number. You'll have 2 minutes to address the commission. Please conclude your remarks when you hear the timer. First in line to provide public comment is number 1. You are now invited to address the commission.
Hello again, good evening. You heard from me this afternoon, but I'd like to speak to you this evening as well. My name is Katie Ellison. I'm a junior here at Central Michigan University. And I'd like to share with you the importance of keeping college communities together as we consider this important redistricting process. CMU specifically, from South Crawford Road to South Somerton Road and north of East Millbrook Road, as well as the bulk of residents in the area of East Broadway Street and Broomfield Street, is a population of 67.3% students. This area is greater than the campus itself, but still has many of the same goals, mindsets, and perspectives of those within campus's borders. As students here, we contribute vastly to this community. We not only learn here, we work and eat and play and sleep and live in this community. This is also our community. We want the best for it. And if we keep fairer districts here, we encourage civic engagement with young people all across the state. There is potential to break up campus itself, not to mention our various apartment communities housed with almost entirely off-campus students, as well as separate our campus from our downtown, full of coffee shops and mom and pop restaurants, all deeply tied to Central Michigan University's community itself. These establishments, often started by CMU alumni and attended by current students, are in what I would best describe as a symbiotic relationship. We help each other, we benefit from each other, and we probably wouldn't exist, let alone thrive, without each other. And to separate CMU from our community would be, to put it plainly, unjust. Today, I ask you to please consider the rights of the citizens of Mount Pleasant to elect folks who represent local values and understand local issues. And the best way to do this is by keeping these lines fair. Finally, I'd like to thank the commission greatly for their time and consideration in this very important issue. I also like to thank members of the community who will be making their voices heard alongside my own tonight. I implore you to keep this community together as this nonpartisan commission works hard towards making Michigan more fair and more just. The fair and just thing to do is to keep communities together. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Number 2.
Whoops. Good evening, commissioners. My name is Caroline Ross. I live in Gratiot County, St. Louis, Michigan. I'm a lifelong Michigander and a lifelong resident of this region. I'm also a proud member of the UAW Local 6000 State of Michigan employees, now retired, since 1985. I want to address this commission on 2 points. The first thing being our State House representative in Lansing. I believe that due to many commonalities between Isabella County and Gratiot County, we should share a State House seat in Lansing. First, the environmental issues surrounding our waterways and agriculture are a constant concern for this region. Secondly, we share the concern for renewable energy and the jobs that it creates, both in wind and in solar. Lastly, is our educational institutions in both Mount Pleasant and Alma, as well as our regional school districts. Please consider this when drawing this district. Second point I want to address is partisan fairness. Our state has been heavily gerrymandered over the last decade. I believe that the party who receives the most votes should have proportional representation in both state Senate and state House. Partisan fairness should be included in every step of this mapping process. It is imperative that you stick to this constitutional requirement. Thank you for your time, and thank you for all that you're doing in helping to address this issue for us.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Number 3.
Good evening. My name is Kathy Lykam, and I'm a resident of Midland County. I've been a resident there in the city for 20 plus years. And I want to thank you for having this meeting here in our region. Midland's just a 30-minute drive from and is part of this community. So thank you very much. I'm here now to comment on the 3 Senate maps that are impacting Midland County and Gladwin County. Honestly, the proposed maps do not make sense to me for Midland because Midland County was sliced and diced and the city was removed from the rest of the district. And Gladwin and Midland County, including the city of Midland, belong together in the same Senate district. Both of them are rural communities, and our flood recovery work will incur a major setback if you split the Senate representation up for Midland and Gladwin. Midland and Gladwin counties are together today, and they should continue to remain together. Please change the Senate maps to reflect this change. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Number 4.
My name is Terry Miller. Thank you, commissioners, for hearing us today. I'm a retired Saginaw public school teacher, active local environmentalist, and resident of Bay County. As such, I'm part of a Saginaw Bay watershed community of interest. I believe you have a tough job and have worked at it with fairness and transparency. I applaud your recognition of the importance of aligning the tri-counties of Midland, Saginaw, and Bay in your state Senate district map. I also applaud your recognition of the shared industrial history, shared infrastructural needs, shared potable and recreational water system of the Saginaw River, I-75 corridor in your draft congressional mapping that includes Genesee, Bay, and Saginaw counties. Great strides have been made to address the legacy of industrial contamination, including brownfield development and wetland preservation. But a federal advocate is essential if progress is to continue. It is in that context that I would ask the commission to consider the city of Midland be included in your congressional map. Given its central position in the watershed and the importance of the Tittabawassee River to the overall water quality in the Saginaw River and Bay, I sincerely believe it should be part of the congressional district. Also, all 4 urban areas will play an important role in developing strategies of resilience and common efforts to roll back climate change. I am wearing a 350 pin and have since 2011. 10 years later, 350 parts per million is a livable amount of CO2. We're at 419 now. We have to address climate change, and we need congressional representation to do so. Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you for addressing the commission. We will now move on to number 5.
Good evening. I'm Barb Hanley-Miller, a retired professor from Delta College. I live in Bay County, Michigan, where I raised a family. I'm a part of a Bay County community of interest, and I have submitted a map aligning Bay County with Saginaw, Genesee County, and the city of Midland in a congressional district. I thank the commission for recognizing the combined interests of Saginaw Bay and Midland counties in the state Senate district and urge you to keep that map. These urban communities of Genesee, Saginaw, Bay City, and Midland share the Saginaw Bay watershed and environmental concerns. They're a key industrial corridor and have significant populations of people of color in Genesee and Saginaw in particular, and they deserve to have a united, strong voice. One example of that is in higher education. Over 40% of college students start at a community college. At Delta College, where I taught, 81% of students come from Saginaw Bay and Midland counties. Those counties are very tied. At Delta and Mott Community College in Flint, over 30% of students transfer to four-year universities, many to universities in this proposed congressional district. SVSU, Northwood University in Midland, University of Michigan Flint, and now we have many CMU students in Saginaw that are medical students, and it's centered there. We need united representation to work for fair federal loan and Pell Grant policies, for fair access for lower income students, and for veterans who deserve to have their GI benefits supported. These colleges also revitalize our downtowns and would be helped by a unified congressional voice representing these urban areas. This would be a fair, nonpartisan district, and I urge you to consider again, aligning the city of Midland, Bay, Saginaw, and Genesee counties in a congressional district. I thank you for listening well to us at these forums and wish you the best in your process. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Number 6.
Well, thank you for dropping by. Last time that U.S. Senator Molinar was here, there were law enforcement officers guarding him. Yes, why? He did not represent Isabella County. The reason why he was representing us was because there's a strip of Midland County that had been attached to Isabella County. That is the only reason why he was elected. There's no commonality. If you go east on M20, you see that. Isabella County is a very educated county. I agree. We should be attached to Gratiot County, not with Midland County. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Number 7.
Hi, my name's Nikki. I'm from Lansing. I just want to say thank you. I appreciate the work. I worked on Census 2020 throughout the whole year, so I know how hard stuff like this is. I want to comment on the Senate districts for Lansing and the congressional districts as well. I think that those drafts do a good job of making fair maps, and I would like to see the same ideas for our state house districts. Greater Lansing is growing, and compared to 10 years ago, there are more businesses, places to go, and things to do in the Greater Lansing area, especially with CATA running into Ingham, Eaton, and Clinton counties. My house district could be downtown Lansing, Old Town, and up to DeWitt. A lot of people who work at the main Lansing Hospital, Sparrow, commute in from Clinton. I think that making a fair map is the most important thing, and I think splitting up Greater Lansing area into five or so house districts would be the best representation of the community. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Number 8.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for taking the time to listen to our comments. My name is John Schneider, and I also drove up here from Lansing to give some comments about it. I've lived in the Lansing area for about 10 years now, and I do work in Lansing and in East Lansing a decent amount. I can only imagine how hard this work is, and I did want to say that I deeply appreciate the results that came from the work that you've been doing around the Lansing Senate map. I think that it's a new way of looking at the Greater Lansing area and creates a more fair map for the future. When it comes to our state house districts, I do think that one of them should be the East Lansing and Bath Township areas in the southern Clinton County. Bath has a lot of students and student housing mixed into the township. And in the same vein as what some people have been saying for this area, it is really important and crucial to keep those communities and groups together so that their voices can be better heard. I like to bike the trails in Bath just as much as I like to bike the trails in Lansing and East Lansing. And it's close to MSU, and the bus routes run right through campus from areas in Bath Township all day long. It would make for a more fair map overall, and it would help keep the larger MSU community together. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Number 9.
Hi, my name is Dana. I reside in Midland County in the city, and I was born there. I grew up there, and now we've chosen to make our home there because that region is far more dynamic than a triangle or a 75 corridor. In a globally connected world, our interests are not constrained by a single highway. It was officially recognized that Midland had outgrown the Tri-Cities designation half of my lifetime ago. Residents of Midland City share common concerns with residents of Gladwin, Isabella, and Gratiot counties. We work in these communities, we shop in each other's communities, we vacation in them, and our shared concerns affect the health of our greater extended community. When those communities flood, so does the city of Midland. It is possible to manage workers across district lines. It's possible to manage education across district lines. Remote work, remote education have proved that now for a couple of decades. But it's really difficult to focus on your job or on your exams when you are pulling the waterlogged remnants of your possessions out of your ruined home. Greater Midland offers something precious because it offers a wide variety of opportunities and professions while retaining real integration and mindfulness with the rural realities of the specific land it is located on. So please, please do not carve off a part of our community and awkwardly bolt it to another community who has other management priorities. Midland City and Midland County need to retain their places along with Gladwin and Isabella and Gratiot so that Midland can fully engage with the opportunities these places create together, and Midland needs to remain whole. Thank you very much for hearing me today.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Number 10.
Hello, my name is David Adrian, and I've lived in Midland for the past 11 years, but I come from a small rural town of 2,000 people in northwestern Minnesota. I've spent many years living in larger cities such as Minneapolis and Boston pursuing an education, and I enjoyed the amenities that those places had to offer. I've even had the opportunity to live and work globally. However, I am in Midland now because when I came here after I completed my graduate school education, I knew that I was home. I met the love of my life here. Midland is not a destination to visit. It's a place to live and work and grow to be someone rather than somewhere. So when it comes to the district lines, please keep Midland rural and Midland County whole. Thank you for listening to me today.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Number 11.
Hello, my name is Jessica Lapp. I'm a 23-year resident of Isabella County. I want to thank the commissioners for their work towards more representative mapping and hopefully thus more representative government for Michigan. I encourage the commission to consider a state house map that pairs Isabella County with Gratiot County, including the city of Alma, as this extended community along the 127 corridor has many cultural, educational, and economic ties and mutual interests. Other speakers have detailed these ties, and I hope you will consider these in your decision-making. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Number 12.
I'm Elizabeth Scott, a fifth-generation Midlander. Thank you for hearing our public comments and drawing a map that keeps Midland County whole. The city of Midland should not be cut out or sanctioned out of the rural district. I support the map removing Midland from the proposed 11th district with Saginaw, Bay City, and Flint, and keeping it with like rural communities in the 13th. The city of Midland should not be sanctioned out of the rural district. To do so would harm the rural counties that need to be connected to Midland. There is a Midland area watershed. We saw this from the flooding in Midland in 2017 that was from the waters coming from Isabella and Gladwin, and then the catastrophic flood in 2020 from Gladwin, where over 800 residential homes were either affected or destroyed. Midland and its rural neighboring counties of Gladwin, Isabella, Clare, and Gratiot clearly have different concerns than Flint, Bay City, and Saginaw. Each area has its own unique set of concerns as reflected in its population and industry. It is to everyone's advantage to respect these unique districts and represent them appropriately. I support the map drawn by Commissioner Lang that keeps Midland County and neighboring rural communities together. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Number 13.
Hello, my name is Michael Heitman. I live in Union Township here in Isabella County. This is a complex region for the legislative maps. Former redistricting cycles have placed Isabella County in different districts for both the state Senate and the state House. At various times in the last 40 years, the state House has seen Isabella tied with Mecosta, Clare, and Midland counties. Past decisions have been political, with little care for the manner of representing the people of Central Michigan. I'm asking you to consider pairing Isabella County and the northern portion of Gratiot County in the Michigan State House District. The numerous ties between Isabella and Gratiot counties are greater than that of most areas in Central Michigan. For example, the Gratiot-Isabella Regional Education Service District services students in public, private, and parochial schools in both counties. Higher education is an economic and cultural driver. Central Michigan University, Alma College, the Saginaw Chippewa Tribal College, and Mid-Michigan College are located here. The Chippewa Watershed Conservancy strives to protect the land, water, and the wildlife in Isabella and Gratiot counties. Agriculture, recreation, and health are impacted by the rivers in both counties. Wind farms dot the landscape in both counties. At one time, Gratiot and Isabella counties had separate united ways, but now our two counties work cooperatively in the Gratiot-Isabella United Way. Isabella and Gratiot counties have cultural, historic, and environmental, and educational and economic connections. Together, Isabella and Gratiot counties form a community of interest. I hope that my perspective has been some help as you strive to draw maps. And I hope that you take this into consideration. So thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Number 14.
Hi, my name is Lauren Hall. I'm a student here at CMU, but I'm originally from Bay City, Michigan. Tonight, I just want to kind of talk about Bay County a little bit. For me, it's really important that Bay, Midland, and Saginaw stay together, first and foremost, because that is primarily how we self-identify as a community. We are the Tri-Cities. That's how I tell people where I'm from when I'm on campus or around Michigan. Secondly, I would also state that the number 2 employer of Bay County is Dow Chemical, which is located in Michigan, or is located in Midland. So there's an economic vested interest in keeping those communities together. Finally, when we mentioned Delta College, how we elect Board of Trustees to Delta College is through whether or not they live in Saginaw, Bay, and Midland. We have specific designators for those delegates to the Board of Trustees in our elections. And then finally, I graduated from Western High School, which for those of you who are not familiar with the area, is about halfway between Midland County and Bay County. And I can tell you first and foremost from experience that a majority of my classmates were from Midland County, even though the school that I went to was in Bay County, simply because was closer to rural Midland County. So there is a vested educational interest in keeping the Tri-Cities together as well. And I hope that you will consider that as you make your maps. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Number 15.
Hi, everyone. My name is Isabella Correa. I am from Holland, Michigan, and I'm a first-generation college student here at CMU. As an individual whose parents are unable to voice their opinions in a governmental space, I've had to navigate this right in every aspect of my life. So anyway, I was here this morning and I looked for resources available to Spanish speakers. And after realizing this entire event was in English, and then looking for some sort of translation, I went up to the front part where we could sign up for public comment and was told it was being worked on. So I thought about that. Looking at that this tour has been going on for so long, why isn't this the standard and why isn't this available? The Latinx population is the largest growing population going to university right now, so this is no excuse. And we want to talk about things such as voter suppression. And when looking around this room, I don't see a lot of BIPOC, Black, Indigenous people of color. Quite frankly, I see where it's lacking. And if we don't have those resources for those people to come in, then they're going to feel like this isn't for them and their voice doesn't matter, as basic resources such as having material translated isn't even here. So if we want our lines to be accurately represented, we should be working towards more inclusive material, translated material available to all individuals. So thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Number 16.
Hi, all. My name is Kennedy, and I'm currently a senior at CMU. First, I'd like to thank you so much for your work on this commission. This is a critical feature of our democracy, and I am so proud of our state for this initiative. Happy to vote for it. I'm from a small town called Ovid, which is about an hour away from here, for those who don't know, whose values and needs are vastly different from the diverse needs expressed in Mount Pleasant. I implore you to help draw this district more fairly so elections may be more fair and competitive in our district. In my experience, student votes are often cast into the wind in this district and cannot hold their true power with the current district lines. Additionally, it's important that public comment is held beyond the 9 to 5 working hours to be more inclusive of young people and those who cannot afford to speak before you during the constraints of our work hours during the day. I thank you for opening the floor to us today and hope this practice continues in the future. I really appreciate your time and attention on this issue, as you have a really great task at hand. And thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you for addressing the commission. I will note in terms of accessibility, our Department of State staff did put up the screen that we have that shows the accessibility options in terms of translations, but everything that happens at our meeting is translated into ASL and Spanish, Bengali, and Arabic translation. And the information has been put up on this screen for the convenience and in response to the prior commenter. Number 17.
Hi, and thank you to the commission for all your hard work. We appreciate your service and your care and your work to ensure fair districts. My name is Ellen Worman. I live in Midland, Michigan, but I have had the immense privilege to serve on the MICRC Outreach and Communications Committee as part of my role at the Campus Election Engagement Project. We're a nonpartisan nonprofit whose mission is to ensure youth are as civically engaged as possible. And I want to praise the commission for your commitment to hearing from as many Michiganders as possible, especially underserved and underrepresented groups like young citizens. Your presence here today at CMU and in previous weeks at U of M, Ferris State, Grand Valley State, and next week at Oakland University have been vital to demonstrating to young voters that their voices matter. If we are to create a generation of active citizens, we have to show up where they are. As you move through the mapping process, I ask that the commission to remember college students as communities of interest. As citizens with dual residency, students have a unique challenge in choosing where to vote. Their economic and cultural contributions to college towns across the state cannot be overstated, but their voices are often diluted by district lines. Roughly 1 in 16 Michiganders represents a college student, and so it is important that we continue to think through their educational and civic needs.
Again, thank you for your attention to the needs of college and youth citizens. This campus tour would not have been possible without the dedicated work of campus professionals, including Erica Johnson here at CMU, and we owe all of our campus hosts a debt of gratitude. I am grateful for the work of countless partners on the Outreach Committee, and in particular, our sister organization, the Campus Vote Project. Finally, a word of thanks to Edward Woods III, whose leadership and work for the entire state should be commended. Thank you for your work and your time.
Thank you. Thank you for addressing the commission. So that concludes our in-person public comment this evening. So we are now going to move on to remote public comment. Individuals who've signed up and indicated they would like to provide remote public commentary to the commission will now be allowed to do so. I will call your name and our staff will unmute you. If you are on a computer, you will be prompted by the Zoom app to unmute your microphone and speak. If you are on the phone, a voice will say the host would like you to speak and prompt you to press *6 to unmute. I will call on you by your name. Also, please note that if you experience technical or audio issues, or if we do not hear from you for 3 to 5 seconds, we will move on to the next person in line and return to you when they are done speaking. If audio still does not work, you can email redistricting@michigan.gov and we will help you troubleshoot so that you can participate during the next public comment period at a later hearing or meeting. You will have 2 minutes to address the commission. Please conclude your remarks when you hear the timer. First in line to provide public comment is Allison.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, awesome. Good evening. My name is Allison Vandiver. I'm a resident of South Lyon, Michigan. I wanted to thank you for your work on this commission. I am here to say that South Lyon and Lyon Township are more connected to the Novi and Farmington area and Southern Oakland County communities as opposed to Western Oakland County. South Lyon School District includes parts of Novi and Wixom, and walking and biking trails and our roads connect South Lyon and Lyon Township to the Novi area, making our communities and economies connected. South Lyon is growing more each day, but we are still small enough that I take a short drive to Novi a few times a month for various things I might need. I've got a Target there, I got a Meyer there, I got lots of great entertainment and recreation, so I spend a lot of time in that community. Additionally, the Asian American and Pacific Islander community in South Lyon has grown significantly recently, further connecting us to the Novi area through this community that lives in Novi. I do not want our AAPI community to be severed from the larger AAPI community. I also wanted to thank you for working to unpack our cities. It's important to ensure fairness and equity, especially considering our history of racial gerrymandering. Creating competitive districts, not just drawing only safe Democratic and Republican districts, matters to the public and our perception that these maps are fair and that legislators will be accountable to us. Thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate you doing this for us.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Next in line is Anthony Scannell.
Good afternoon, Commission. Thank you so much. I want to give a shout out to 2 different submissions to the public comment portal, neither of which were mine, but I think they're useful. One was that Hamtramck and surrounding community of interest. That was submission P1037. I think that map covers that really well. And then I want to shout out Will Ferguson's Detroit State House districts he put up, I think today. That's P5334. And I think he did a spot on job. And to be honest, it looks a lot better than the ones you created. But anyway, that is State House. Now, my own thoughts on the congressional map. I'm just going to run down my congressional map. It had 3 Metro Detroit districts comprised of an East Side and Southern Macomb district, a Northwest district, including Oakland and Wayne counties, a Southwest district entirely in Wayne County, another district entirely in Oakland County from Oxford down to Troy over to South Lyon, another Macomb Sanilac district with a little bit of Lapeer, one Downriver Monroe Washtenaw district, one Flint district, which might not be very popular given the comments here, but one Flint district including Shiawassee, Livingston, and Southern Saginaw counties, one Lansing district, including Clinton, Ionia, Eaton, and Jackson, one border district, including all the border counties except Monroe and Berrien, but also including Kalamazoo, Berry, and a part of Calhoun counties, one Grand Rapids district, including part of Ottawa, a Western Lakeshore district up to Ludington, including Lake and Newaygo counties, an up north district straight across from Manistee to Tawas, and finally a Thumb, Bay, Saginaw, Midland, Aranac, Mid-Michigan district. And that's my configuration. Thanks.
Thank you for addressing the commission. We now move on to Karen.
For the purposes of the public record, that participant is not currently present.
Okay, so we're going to move on to Tapia.
That's P5334. And I think he did a spot on job. And to be honest, it looks a lot better than the ones you created.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you. My name is Leyda Tapia. I'm a resident of Detroit, Michigan. I just want to reiterate that information for the public hearings starting on October 11th need to be updated on the commission website. Currently, you're using 3 websites for the public to find information, and you have not been releasing the shape files for the maps that you're drafting. This has made it very difficult for the public to be able to analyze and look at their communities and seeing how they're being impacted by your drafts and then properly provide you public comment. Unless they're watching these public hearings all day, which is very difficult, it makes it really hard for public comment to occur. It also makes it very difficult to provide public comment for public hearings that you're currently not advertising on your website. Again, the website currently has the wrong information for the public hearings. And I don't want to repeat the wrong information, but you are starting on October 11th in Flint, Michigan. I want to reiterate to please put the shape files on michigan.gov/MICRC. They have not been updated. And the new website that you have now, Michigan Redistricting, for the map viewing does not allow you to download the shape files. There's our partial files, and it doesn't allow for the full understanding of the maps that you are drafting. You will be finalizing maps and voting on them next week, and the public hasn't had an opportunity to properly view those maps that you have been drafting. We want to support the work that you're doing and support the maps because some of them seem really great, but it's really difficult to be able to know what work you have been doing when it's not being publicized in a timely manner. I'm happy to help in this process. And if there's anything that the public can do, please let us know. I've worked with Edward, and I would love to continue to help and support you all in the hard work that you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Next to speak is Dave Adams.
Hello, thank you for the opportunity to address the commission. I'd first like to congratulate and thank all of you for the time and effort you have put into serving. I'm sure you probably are tired at this point, but what you are doing will hopefully have a positive effect on democracy in our state for years to come. On a personal note, as a lifelong Saginaw County resident, I'd love it if Saginaw County was not split for the congressional or state Senate seats. Saginaw County's been split in Congress for my entire life. But even better would be to keep Midland, Bay, and Saginaw counties all together in a congressional seat. But if you need to split the counties, etc., to give the voters of Michigan partisan fairness, please do it. As I've talked to friends from both political parties, I often hear that because Michigan is a 50-50 state, we should have a congressional delegation that is 7-6 and a state house that is 55-55. And that makes sense. But many of these people talk about 6 Democratic districts, 6 Republican districts, and 1 district with partisan fairness or competitiveness. I think all of us voters would want to be in that 1 competitive district. The politicians want 6 safe districts for each party. So I know it won't be easy and might require you to be creative, which I have seen in some of the already drawn districts, but I'd encourage you to maximize the partisan fairness, maximize competitiveness with something like 2 Democratic, 2 Republican, and 9 toss-up districts. Same concept for the state house. Not Saginaw County with 1 Democratic, 1 Republican, but 2 fair districts. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. We now move on to Mr. James Gallant.
Hello?
Can hear you.
Oh, okay, there you go. Yes, James Gallup, Marquette County Suicide Prevention Coalition. These are my opinions. And considering the past speaker who said that you will be voting on your maps next week, there was some public comments on the chat or in an earlier meeting about the unpublished rules that you are using right now, you're in the middle of, that do not recognize what you're doing now when you're drawing the maps as deliberation. That's scheduled for next week, right? Then September 27th. Now, the person claimed on the chat that the reason that you have no motion pending is because you're not considering the final maps. Oh, I've heard that before many times. And that's how I found the rule that says you shall not deliberate before there's a motion that's properly seconded. That's how I found that. I had to find it because people kept saying that final, it's not the final. But just consider this, that if you don't go back to every single map now and change it, then the map that you have drawn now will be the final map. And you will be then voting on it. So you deliberated towards the final map, unless you change every single one of them now that you have in place. And that's why you need the motions pending. Like I said before, this is supposed to be committee of the whole. This is committee of the whole structure. You're only supposed to have 2 statements per person, per member during the agenda item, unless you're in committee of the whole. And then you have unlimited amount, and then committee of the whole is just making a recommendation for the draft maps. That's how this should have went, and this is what should be happening now. So I'd like to request that you hire a registered parliamentarian to provide you written report on the subject. And I'd like to request that the Central Michigan University student government to consider on their agenda whether this commission is this decision-making process is actually according to the rules of procedure that are approved and the Robert's Rules of Orders requirement for a motion second establishing an immediately pending question. So the CMU student body government, please, political science department, please, somebody.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Next is Mike Curell.
That participant is not currently present.
All right. Lisa, Coney.
Hear me?
Yes.
Good afternoon. I'm Lisa Coney, 35-year plus resident of Saginaw County, and just wanted to thank you for the hard work that you have been doing and that you continue to do. I want a state Senate district that includes the Tri-Cities, Saginaw, Midland, and Bay City. The Tri-Cities are a community of interest and have long been called the Tri-Cities because they share economic, cultural, and historic interests. We are called the Great Lakes region because of how closely linked we are. We share an airport. The people of the Tri-Cities travel to each other's cities for shopping, entertainment, and cultural. We share economic interest in Michigan, including the Michigan Sugar, General Motors, Dow Chemical, and SC Johnson. There's even a Wikipedia page highlighting the ties between the three communities. I want a U.S. congressional district that includes the Tri-Cities and Flint. Saginaw, Midland, Bay City, and Flint are communities of interest. We are connected by the I-75 corridor and share many regional airports. Saginaw and Flint have significant Black populations that would benefit from shared representation in a single congressional district. Saginaw has a large Hispanic population as well. When drawing the first draft of the congressional districts, the commission's VRA expert was not on hand, and the commission gave little to no consideration to Black or Latino populations in mid-Michigan. We all share common media markets. We share educational ties through local high school sports. We're also closely linked through our colleges and universities.
Thank you for addressing the commission. I know that timer is a little hard to hear. Bill Meyer?
Okay. Yes, hello, my name is Bill Meyer. I'm from Hamtramck, and with a group called One Hamtramck, which is an organization that addresses social peace and social justice issues. I was born in this area 77 years ago. I know the area intimately. And I want to say that many of you are probably unaware of a couple statistics of Hamtramck because they're usually not recorded. One is that this city has a majority of the two largest ethnic groups in this area are Yemenis and Bangladeshis. It's not a Polish city anymore, although many people think it is. So this makes this the highest percentage of Muslims in any city in America, as high as 70 to 80%, probably in the entire Western Hemisphere. And for a long time, these people have been marginalized in city government and issues, in media and everything. They're speaking out now. They're finally asking for their fair justice. And I want to mention that Rebecca Islam has provided a map from APIA, which I hope you take a look at. And first of all, I wanted to thank you all for letting me speak. This is a map that shows the density of people of color in this area. And to break that group up would be a tragedy. Our group, One Hamtramck, works through culture, and we've supported a Bangladesh mural right on the border of Hamtramck and Detroit, Carpenter. So many Bangladeshis are in Hamtramck and also across Carpenter into Detroit. I want to thank you for listening to me and letting me speak.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Rahman?
That participant is not present.
Okay. We'll move on to Rev Tyler Wagner.
Okay. There we go. I think we're back on now, correct?
Yes.
Wonderful. Good evening. My name is Rev Tyler Wagner. I'm a longtime pastor here in Ottawa County on the west side of the state, and a lifelong resident, actually, of Ottawa County. Grew up on the northeast side and went to school in the northwest and central side of the county. I've pastored now in the southern part of the county. And so, in fact, the last time I was in Ottawa County, I lived here actually was when I was overseas as an Army officer in Operation Iraqi Freedom in Baghdad. So I know Ottawa County very well. The county as a whole has its own unique and wonderful character. Again, as someone who's lived here, I've gone to school here, I have friends here, I play here, I work here, I shop here, I worship here. I can speak to Ottawa County very well. And so I've seen on the map the proposed splitting up of Ottawa County into 3 congressional districts. That actually tremendously saddens me. I think about my own small congregation. We may not even 200 people, and they all live very near to church. And with this proposal that you have, they are split up into 3 different congressional districts. So I'm in the proposed 9th district. Just 2 miles to the east of me is the proposed 4th district, and 4 miles to the west of me is the proposed 13th district. And I think only those who really don't know or understand Ottawa County would come up with a proposal like this that splits up Ottawa County. And that's why I need to speak to you about what Ottawa County is. And that's why I'm asking and pleading with you to change this proposed layout to keep Ottawa County together, because that's how the people of Ottawa County live their lives. They do it together. This proposed redistricting of things, the way I understood, is supposed to keep communities, natural communities together. They're deep generational ties, deep longtime friendships, common values, interests. I look at Borculo just to the side, a small little village, and it is cut in half right down the center. Please keep Ottawa County together.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Cindy?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, my name is, well, first off, I want to say that Mike Carell was passed up, that he wasn't here, but he is here. I'm not sure what he is here for, though. I mean, what his name is on the screen. I just wanted to know that he is here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so I'll get to mine. My name is Cindy Ware, and I live in Midland, Michigan. First, I would like to thank the commission for drawing a state senate district that includes the cities of Midland, Bay City, and Saginaw, also known as the Tri-Cities. These 3 cities are an obvious community of interest, and we all have like things in common. Industrial-based communities, our economies are connected. We have a shared airport with Midland, Bay City, and Saginaw, and we share several media outlets and regional colleges and universities. That's my comment regarding the state senate district, and I appreciate that you do those together, and I urge you to keep that map. I would also like to request the commission to include the city of Midland in the congressional map, along with Bay City, Saginaw, and Flint. These cities are the core of mid-Michigan and a community of interest for all of the same reason I just mentioned for the state senate district. We identify as the Tri-Cities, and we should stay together in both the Senate and the congressional districts. I just want to thank you for all the work you're doing, hearing us and making changes based on our comments. I'm looking forward to seeing the new maps with our districts drawn that are fair and competitive, which will in turn make for much better governing, which we need in the state of Michigan. So thank you for our hard work. That's all.
Thank you for addressing the commission. It's my understanding Mike Carell has joined, so let's go back to him.
Say hello. Say hello. Hello?
I can hear you.
Oh, sorry. Good afternoon. This was difficult. Good afternoon. My name is Mike Carell. I'm a longtime resident of the city of Midland, and I want to thank you all for volunteering and for all your hard work. Your work is so important for fair elections in Michigan. I'm speaking today to advocate for the cities of Midland, Bay City, and Saginaw being recognized as a community of interest. I'm a longtime Midland resident, recently retired. I've spent most of my adult life working in the area, including jobs in all three communities. The Tri-Cities have a long history of connections and common concerns, whether it's our shared infrastructure, our schools, our colleges, the airport, common healthcare providers, large and small business issues, and keeping the rivers that connect us healthy and clean. We are connected and share common concerns. Communities of interest, by definition, refer to a group of people who have a common set of concerns that may be affected by legislation. I think the Tri-Cities more than meet that requirements. Please take into consideration my concerns. I believe our unique issues merit common representation, both in Lansing and in Washington. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Next in line is James.
Hello, can you?
Yes, we can hear you. Oh, I can't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Wonderful. My name is James Lunga. I'm an educator and coach here in Ottawa County. In fact, I'm calling you straight from the soccer pitch where I coach our 8-year-old boys here. In fact, the way the map is drawn right now, out of the entire team, we would be represented by 3 different congressional districts, despite the fact that the boys all live a few miles apart from each other. The commission shouldn't divide Ottawa County as it has currently done in their proposal. Despite the fact that Ottawa County is the fastest growing county in the state, it is not being treated as a point of interest. The commission has an obligation, a constitutional obligation, to restore Ottawa County because it is a community of interest, not just for its importance to the state, but because of its shared economy, heritage, and history. Ottawa County truly is unique. It's unfortunate that no one from the commission is from this side of West Michigan to really understand that, but that's why I'm here today. I'm here to speak on behalf of Ottawa County and our future. Dividing us into 3 congressional districts takes away our federal voice. There's a lesson I teach to my boys, and that is in adversity, in the face of adversity, we can only triumph through unity. Please maintain the unity of Ottawa County and keep them together as one federal district. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Next in line is Delia Johnson.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you, Commission, for all the work you're doing. I really appreciate it. I'm speaking on behalf of asking if Jackson County can be included in the western part of Washtenaw County. My reasoning for this is that I think we have some similarities. I'm particularly proud of a group here in Jackson that is working with African Americans to make them more involved in our community and giving them what they need to get their work done. I think that if we were paired with Washtenaw, Western Washtenaw County, we would run into other people that are similar in our beliefs about the sanctity of every group of people. I would hope that other people would be pleased to be paired in our group. I'm in a group of African Americans and Caucasians, and we're doing some good work. I hope that people in that group would be pleased to be paired with Western Washtenaw. There's so many hard problems to solve. There aren't any easy answers in this work. But I think that being paired with Western Washtenaw would give us a better chance of coming together as we embrace diversity and build stronger multicultural communities in Southeast Michigan. Thank you very much for hearing my comment.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Ray Hall.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Hey, look, my name is Ray Hall. I'm calling from Flint, Michigan. And let's start my video. What I want to say is that I was treated unfairly from the start. I tried to join the commission and I was blocked out from we was the first ones to do it here at the University of Michigan, Flint. And I was told that a notary was not in the position to put forth my application. So I got dropped or whatever, but I got the paperwork and everything. I plan on bringing that to the table, but I want to keep the 34th district in the city of Flint with the maps. That's why I got to come to this point right here. I would have been involved a long time ago, but I'm just catching up now, and that all of us are not colored, Black, or African-American, but there is an indigenous community here in the city of Flint. And we're growing expeditiously, a larger number, and we would like to also add it to the map at the same time. And if someone could, I think I can get information later on, but I'm also trying to file that complaint because I was supposed to be involved with this a long time ago. And that's basically what I wanted to bring to the table is that there's an indigenous community here in the city of Flint. We're by water, and we got land and all that stuff and everything. So I just want to get that point made. And I guess that's it for me. I thought my minutes were passed quickly, but that's basically all I had to say was that that's basically it. Yeah, yes, ma'am. And how to get more involved in what's going on here. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission, Mr. Hall. All right, that concludes our first opportunity for both in-person and remote public commentary. Without objection, we will now hear from individuals seeking to provide a second 2-minute public comment. Hearing no objection, we will now proceed with individuals seeking to provide a second 2-minute public comment. Individuals who have signed up and indicated they would like to provide live remote public commentary will now be allowed to do so. We will use the same process as the first round with 2 minutes per commenter. First in line to provide public comment is Anthony Scannell.
Thank you, Commission. Once again, shout out the Hamtramck Community of Interest map. That's public comment portal submission P1037. Shout out Will F's Detroit Area State House Districts. That's P5334. And yeah, that's it for now. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Scannell. At this point, we will move on to Mr. James Gallup.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me
Yes,
now?
I can. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, James Gallup, Marquette County Suicide Prevention Coalition. These are my opinions. And I would ask that this commission would get complete transparency concerning your unpublished rules that Commissioner Lang said you voted on. Commissioner Witches is always talking about. Commissioner Kellum is the one, vice chair, facilitates discussion. The chair and Commissioner Lett said it all. It was like you're working as one. It's not the way that it's not separate. It's all one. He doesn't want to disrupt the unity, and all that. So please publish those rules so we can understand the part about you don't make a motion until the final vote. So that means you're gonna all the discussion, then final vote, and then are you gonna say again like you usually do? Is there any more discussion? No, that's because it's already been done yet. It's already done. So please explain to us how this works, because you're going to have to go back to it and you see a bunch of maps. Now you're going to have 200 maps, right? You're going to have 140 plus alternatives. It's going to be about 200 maps. So you figure you got to figure every single one of them to final consider them, and that 5 minutes each. Okay, then you got 16 hours in doing it in just 5 minutes each. So you're gonna have to do like Commissioner Letton they did at that committee meeting the other day. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, we're good. Out the door in 14 minutes. Well, 14 minutes means you would have like 30, 35 hours just to do that revisit thing. And you know what? Please consider the Central Michigan University, and you folks that hosted this, please consider looking into this for real as students, looking into how we're working in America. These people, this is the insurrection, is how this commission is saying the rules, their process type rules override the fundamental principles of parliamentary law and the Constitution. You can say, no, it's in this process. They call it a rule. Before you know it, by consensus, they think it's a rule. And Commissioner Lang believes it's her perception that they voted on this stuff.
Thank you for addressing the commission. That concludes our public comment for this evening. However, I would like to mention that all emailed and mailed public comment is provided to the commission before each meeting, and commissioners also review the public comment portal on www.michigan.gov/MICRC website on a regular basis. We appreciate everyone who provides public comment in whatever manner they choose to do so, and invite you to keep sharing your thoughts, communities of interest, and maps. At this point, we are going to return to our unfinished business, which is continue mapping the state house districts. So we will get started on that. We finished off with Commissioner Lett finishing his district. And at this point, we will move on to Commissioner Orton to direct the line drawers. And so I will hand it over to you, Commissioner Orton. And then once again, I will ask my Vice Chair, MC Rothhorn, if he would mind facilitating the discussion to make it more convenient for everybody, since I am not physically in the room.
Thank you, Chair Zatella. I just want to acknowledge that our VRA consultant, Mr. Adelson, has had to leave. So those of you who are virtual, just to know that we will be mapping until 7:50 or shortly before 8. And Commissioner Orton, you have the floor.
Commissioner Lang didn't. Okay. Well, I was thinking that we would look at Saginaw, since that was one of the areas that we were suggested to look at, having to do with VRA. But since Mr. Adelson isn't here, what do we think? Should we avoid those areas until we have him again, or?
I mean, yes, it looks like our general counsel has an opinion. I also have something. Please, General Counsel.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Commissioner Orton, I would recommend, again, that similar to your work last week when the conversation was facilitated by the chair and the vice chair, that the commission proceed forward with its work, and Mr. Adelson will be reviewing and providing that input. He will be back with us on Monday morning. Or excuse me, I misspoke. I apologize. He will be back with us about right after the recess break on Monday. So 1 o'clock on Monday after lunch, and he will be with us the remainder of the week so that any issues or the feedback can be provided, similar to the feedback that he provided when he joined us this past Monday after the commission had a few days of mapping without the benefit of his presence. But my recommendation would be that the commission move forward, and that as part of the process next week, Mr. Adelson can participate at that time.
And I would just offer, I think you've done some nice work trying to figure it out, so it's worth trying.
Okay, then I will move forward with the Saginaw area, please, Mr. Morgan.
Okay.
So is 30 our next one that we're working on, or is that already?
I think it's 31.
Okay.
John, can you raise your mic a little bit so we can hear you better? Thank you.
Is that better?
It is, thank you.
Okay, so this just shows the population of the counties. So
Okay.
Total of Saginaw County is 190,000. So let's see, that's a little more than 2 districts in just that county.
Okay, so can you turn it to townships, please? So just to preface this, I've been doing some work here, and considering that it was a possible VRA consideration area, I put together a district that I'll create here that is as balanced as possible, and yet I think the numbers are pretty low. I think it might be surprising that they're low. So will you choose the city of Saginaw? And let me see. Okay, I think we need to go to precincts now. Okay, can you choose just to the right, that long skinny precinct to the
here.
very east of the whole?
Okay, just a moment. Here?
No, that's
No.
west, east.
Oh, sorry, east. Oh, right. Okay.
At least I think it is. Unless I'm wrong.
Okay.
Okay, and then please choose the 2. Well, okay. Oh, okay. Choose the portion that's under that 2. And those 2 kind of right, not that big one.
Okay, hang on.
Yeah.
These 2 to the south?
Yes. Yes. And the next one to the south. By the way, I was going to say, Commissioner Weiss, feel free to jump in whenever you'd like. I don't know where you live, but I know you live around here.
I was adjusting the view, but I don't think that was that helpful.
It wasn't helpful to me since I don't know. Okay, the one to the south, that long horizontal one. Okay, and then the 2 that Bridgeport, the words of Bridgeport are over. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna move. Okay, I think for part of it, we might need to do blocks.
Can Commissioner Clark have a word?
Yeah, Commissioner Horton. I would suggest that we do what we did in Flint and create 2 districts. And then try to balance them as we go forward so we can see the.
But when we get enough population in there,
Correct.
even using the highest African-American populations, there's not enough to make it more than 32%.
Yeah, that's a problem.
So
okay. At some point we may want to do that.
I thought I would put it together with as high population as we can, and then if there's no,
great,
then we'll
Okay.
see.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think I must have done blocks because see where the river is? There's the empty area and then there's the river down below. I don't know if it's a river, not that one, but the one coming the other direction. Not that one, but the one going that direction. Maybe it's not a river.
Yeah,
Can
I think this
I-
is the municipal boundary here.
Okay, so just below there, I want part of that, but not that whole big block. So I think it might be a block since I don't see a boundary. The Cass River, it says.
Okay, so you want this whole area down to the river,
Yeah,
including the area up here?
yes.
Okay.
Thank you. And into the yellow as well, everything down to that river. So those blocks to the west of what you just did, up above the river,
Okay, so do you want the actual river or just up to the river?
just up to the river for now.
Okay.
Since there's no population there. We'll worry about that later.
These?
Yes, yeah, that up to the purple.
Up to the river?
Yes.
It looks like we're at Cass River and then the Shiawassee River. Is that
Mhm.
okay? Are you using any of the COIs like the river? There's a Tittabawassee River
Oh,
community.
thank you for reminding me. Can you put the COI overlay for this area? Do we know?
Which one? Which
Do you
COI
have
you
it by
mean?
number?
The one that I'm looking at, right now is C373. There's a couple of them though, but I don't. None of them have a house district. They're all COIs. But
Right.
I thought maybe since the river you were thinking, but it is C373 or 21544.
Okay, you're looking for a number as a reference?
Sorry, John, what was your question?
My question is, were you going to give me the number of the COI?
Yeah. Do you have it as C373? There's two different numbers here, so, okay. How? John,
Yeah, I'm turning off some of the other
okay.
plans.
Actually, I have a different number.
Okay.
That might be
I
good.
thought you might.
P976. Oh, it's a That's a P though, instead of a C.
District. These districts.
Okay.
Okay, so this was the one that you referenced and you're saying it's a different one?
Yeah.
Okay, and you said it was P.
Let's see, 976. I would have to say that most of the communities of interest we've received around that area are about the Tri-Cities, which we cannot fit that into a house district. So
Okay, the one that was blinking is the one that you're referencing.
okay, so
It's this entire.
okay, so what we're doing is within that, and we can't cover all that in a house district. So okay, thank you. You can leave that outline on if you want or not. We won't be going outside of that.
Okay.
Commissioner Ede?
So I like what you have highlighted or what you have currently in 31. And I think the rest of or Saginaw Township to its left could be the start of probably a different district. So what were you thinking? Were you thinking?
So
go ahead.
what I'm thinking is so it won't, all of that Saginaw Township won't fit in to the district with Saginaw. But when I chose precincts that had high minority population to try and maybe comply with Voting Rights Act, if that applies here, that's what I added in, and it's still fairly low. So I'll go ahead and add all those in, then we can look at it and see it still stays within Saginaw and Saginaw Township and then the areas that we have. So.
And just as a reminder, Commissioner Orton, I think Mr. Adelson did tell us that the VRA applies to the whole state. So this is,
right.
I think it's worth what you're doing is.
Yeah, so I think this is one of those, it's worth an experiment.
Commissioner Weiss?
I thought when we had the numbers up there, it almost looked like Saginaw City and Saginaw Township might be very close. And then I was trying to look at the other. Yeah, what do you have? 41, almost 42, 46, that'd be. And then what was I going to add? I think it was Carlton's what I was, just did some quick adding. Could you add that up and see what that total comes to?
Yeah, so you were saying 80.
Yeah, Saginaw Township, Saginaw City, and Carlton.
Are you asking him to add it up in his head or?
Yeah, just
He's good
the
at that.
population, just to see if that would get you close.
Yeah, so 86 plus 6 is 92. That's right on the button.
Yeah, but
okay,
I'd like to see what you had, your thoughts.
Okay, I'll continue with mine, and then that can be we can go to that as well. Okay, so I'll try and do this quick. So we are on.
Was there anything at the south that I missed that you wanted, like this or something else?
No, that's good.
Okay.
So we'll go to the west.
Saginaw Township.
Mm-hmm. So I want that where the river comes down and meets the purple. Yes, I want that in there.
Commissioner Witches?
I was going to echo the same as Commissioner Weiss. Can I have reasoning as to why you're splitting Saginaw in two?
Mm-hmm. I'm not splitting Saginaw.
Well, I'm sorry, Saginaw Township.
Yes. So I was trying to see if we could reach that threshold of minority population for the Voting Rights Act. Because this was flagged by Lisa Hanley as a possible polarized voting area.
I completely forgot about that. So, I'm sorry.
Okay, so I'll just continue and then we can pick it apart after. Okay, so John, I want to, this makes the shape maybe a little weird, but skip those 3 that are kind of in that triangle and then go up. I want that one and that one, and then keep going one more out. Yes. Yes. And the one, the one above that, yes. If you'd rather select box, I can try to show you. Either way is fine with me. I don't know how it works. Not the top ones, but over to the right, clear over to Carlton from where you are. Yes.
Including the village of
Yes.
Carlton or
Yes.
township.
Yeah, include that one and yes.
And the ones in the
Yes.
middle. Okay.
And Commissioner Weiss, it is pronounced Carlton, not Carrollton. Is it Carlton or Carrollton?
I always call it Carlton.
It's always,
So
okay.
I don't know. It could
Oh,
be
good
either way,
guess
I
on my
guess.
part.
Yeah, thank you.
Maybe someone will let us know if we're mispronouncing.
You say Carlton, I say Carrollton. Let's call the whole thing off.
Okay, so this is what I had, and it's down 1.31%, which is 1,198 people from ideal. And the voting age non-Hispanic Black population is 31.93%. The over here, the total minority population, 53.59%. I also looked at the Hispanic theme, and this does encompass the areas that are highest Hispanic population as well. And that's what I came up with. I checked, I didn't see that we broke up any communities of interest, but like we saw, the only communities of interest that I could find were much larger than this.
Nice work. Thank you, Commissioner Orton. I think John Morgan has a comment. maybe.
Yeah, I just had one question. If you have that on your screen, do you have the population number so we can see if it's exact?
Oh,
or
good
close?
idea. I have that we are down 1,174 people. So
Okay.
we must be missing a
We're
little
off by a
piece in
little
there.
bit. So.
Oh, I see it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's that one. We're
Is
down
this
south. Yes.
just this
I
portion
believe
or
it.
this whole thing?
It's that, but I think maybe that was tied to something else. So it might need to come in blocks. That whole portion to the river. That's what it was.
Commissioner Clark, do you have a comment?
Yeah, I do. You're down 1,198 people. And this township or Saginaw area had 190,000. I think we could add some to that. One of the things we saw when Dustin asked for the aggregate an hour or so ago was we're down 10,000. So we don't want to keep driving that in that direction at this point.
If I may, you're down relative 10,000 here over 30 some districts.
Yes.
But we've never really looked at all of the districts that you created in the pieces you've previously done. So I have no idea what a blending of those would do at this point. So for example, in the many other times you've drafted some house districts, you might have drafted another 30 or 40 districts. And I don't know what the cumulative deviation of those is if you were to merge them.
Yeah, the reason I mention this is because we've been working in the high population areas. And so we're going to get ourselves into the rural areas which aren't high population, and then we may run into a problem. So that's why I brought it up.
Thank you, Commissioner Clark. I'm wondering if we're willing to look at the voting, because I think you have a significant Hispanic population, like you said, and there may be a crossover vote that we can look at. And if we look at the
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner or General Counsel.
Thank you. Just briefly, Dr. Handley's analysis found in Saginaw County the number of polarized contests. All of the general elections with minority candidates were polarized. All but 2 of the statewide general elections in the singular statewide Democratic primary was also polarized. Based on her analysis for Saginaw County, it looks like 35 to 40% VAP would be, there's a couple that are just under 48, or excuse me, a couple that are just under 50%. So that range, again, would be consistent with her findings and conditioned on Mr. Adelson's weighing in it next week.
Of course.
So my comment is that we can, of course, add more population, but I have gone around every precinct around this group, and the population and the percentage would just bring down the non-Hispanic Black voting age population that we were looking at. So if we were trying to get up to a certain amount, this is as high as I could find it.
Right. Which is why I thought it would be instructive perhaps to try to look at the voting, because we do have, like I think you pointed out, we may have crossover. We don't know. And I think Lisa Hanley's, as General Counsel has pointed out, right, we need 35%. If this is, as you said, like we can't get there, what I think we want to do is, we're not breaking up any communities of interest. We've got a reasonable minority percentage of almost 54%, but we don't know if there's crossover. And that's why I thought the voting election, right? If we're 32% non-Hispanic Black and the percentage of voting Black population candidates, VP candidates.
Mr. Chair.
Please, General Counsel.
Mr. Vice Chair, I wanted to clarify for Saginaw County. I'm looking at my notes. I have 40% to 45. Genesee County was 35 to 40%. Saginaw is 40%. So I wanted to make sure that I updated that from my prior statement. In Oakland County, I wrote 42 to 43% just to be different there. But for Saginaw County, 40% would be the appropriate measure. Thank you.
So I have a question then, which might be a Mr. Adelson question or a Lisa Hanley question, but so she identified this county as one of the counties we need to look at, but according to my work anyway, I could not get to that threshold that of the 35 to 40%, or maybe it was 40% in that county. What does that mean then for this area? We do the best we can, but we can't get up there. I don't know what alternative we have.
Yeah, it sounds like that's a question for Mr. Adelson. Do we just leave
Correct.
it?
No, I appreciate that, Mr. Vice Chair. And if I understand Commissioner Orton's question, if I understand her question correctly, it's that reaching the goal of a 40% minority VAP is what you were struggling with when you were mapping. No, again, I would encourage the commission to do their best efforts at this time. And then Mr. Adelson will review the maps and provide his analysis and feedback as he did last Monday.
Okay. do any commissioners have any changes or?
Commissioner Weiss?
John, could you put the dots up, please, for that? See what we have?
Yeah, just clarify what you mean by put the dots up, please.
True. Would you put up the, for the Black community, please, first?
Okay.
John, we thought you were a mind reader.
I know what you meant, but for the purposes of, the meeting, I thought I'd clarify.
And if I remember correctly, Cynthia, you also said you looked at the Hispanic population. So maybe we can, after these, we might look at the other ones. Commissioner Weiss, let us know when you're ready.
Just kind of look at what the map is. I think Cynthia's hit it pretty close. It might be kind of tough to make any adjustments.
John, could you click on the one just to the right of the word shields? Yeah, that one. So there were a few in there that might have been slightly lower than that percentage, but in order to get to that percentage, we had to go through areas that had none. So anyway.
Let us know when you're ready, Commissioner Weiss.
Could we look at the voting percentages, please?
Okay, so this district 31, which is principally Saginaw and Saginaw Township and Bridgeport, is 70% for Biden, 68% for Biden, 32 for Trump. Clinton is 68, Trump 32, Obama 71, Romney 29. Peters for Senate is 68 and James is 32. Stabenow is 68, James 32. Peters is 75, Land is 25. In 2012 for US Senate, 76 for Stabenow, 24 for Hoekstra. Whitmer is 70, Schuette is 30. For Governor 2014, 68 for Shower, 32 for Snyder. Nessel 67, Leonard 33 for Attorney General. Totten 62 and a half, Schuette is 37 and a half. For Secretary of State, Benson 70, Lang 30. Dillard 66, Johnson 34, and then the governor's primaries here as well. El Said 23, Thanedar is 30, and Whitmer is 47.
So it looks like, if it looks like we've got at least double the percentage for the Democrat over the Republican, and it seems like that's the party that is of choice for the Black and brown community, and we may have a crossover vote there. We may have a good district. Is that how you read it, commissioners? Is that?
Yes.
Okay, I'm seeing some nodding heads. Okay. And I think what we've got is essentially we're going to wait for Mr. Adelson's, but Commissioner Orton, thank you for doing this and putting it together. And I think we want to just acknowledge too that we don't have the Hispanic community's dots at this point, but we can, you've taken that into consideration, and we want that reflected in the, okay. Commissioner Lett, okay. And we haven't broke any communities of interest up. Secretary of State.
Yes, Cynthia, the COI P976 that you pulled up for this district, could you tell me what that community of interest was? I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I heard the description.
I may be able to do that. No, I'm going to bring it there.
I have to look at the paper. Thank you. P976, right? Is that the one? Okay, so that was about the Shiawassee River, I guess, and the areas around there, but it was very large, so.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, commissioners. I believe I am next. And I would like to acknowledge that I would rather facilitate at this point. And I'm wondering, I do know that Commissioner Lang is with us. I'm wondering, Commissioner Lang, if you would help me draw a map. If you're still
I
there.
can do that. I'm still here.
Excellent. So again, I would rather facilitate, and I can facilitate hands. If you have a place that you would like to draw, I would appreciate your help.
Okay, I do. John, if you could you go to Midland, please?
Sure.
And could you select all of Midland County?
Okay, for 83,000 people.
Yes. And then could you take the 4 townships of Gladwin above it, and that should give you a district.
And the village here as well?
Yes.
Okay, that's within 500 people.
Yes. And the reason I picked this is because of public comment, again, concerns with the watershed in the Tittabawassee, which does come down through Gladwin, the recovery that Midland County is still going through with the floods, that is an economic concern. We've had a ton of public comment about keeping the county whole, one voice, and it works. So that's why I did that, taking into account the public comment about watersheds, about flooding, and about keeping the county as whole as possible.
Thank you, Commissioner Lang. Commissioner Orton.
I think there might just be one little spot of Midland that is across the county line. Is that, or is it something else? I'm not sure, but if it's Midland, it needs to be.
I believe it's
in,
the city of Midland that crosses the county line.
So is everyone okay? Rhonda, are you okay with adding that in since it's part of the city of Midland?
That's part of the city. The part of the city's in another county. I did not realize that. I'm fine with adding that in. The number 160 just brings it closer.
And I believe, again, it's one voting precinct in the equivalent of one county, one township or municipality.
Okay, please add that in.
And there may be one above it, Commissioner Orton was saying. Commissioner Clark concurs.
Did someone want me to add this for sure?
John, go ahead and add it. That's fine.
Okay.
And I think we're adding it, right? Because we think it is part of the city. Is there a way for you to confirm that, John?
It might take a minute to do that, but I can.
Please, I think that's the reason that we added those two little pieces. So if you could confirm it somehow, that would be helpful.
Okay, do you want me to do this right now or at a break?
Thank you for that suggestion. Let's do it at a break.
Okay.
I think we're moving along pretty well. Thank you, Commissioner Lang. Are there any questions at this point, Secretary of State? We need a moment. Commissioner Lang, did you have any specific COIs or any plans that you were referencing at this point?
There were public comments about the watersheds. There was a couple 5340, 5354, and a lot of the, pardon me, a lot of the ones I was going off from were the Midland hearing that we attended. There were over 20 of them about keeping Midland, the Gladwin, the watershed. So I went off my notes from the public hearings also.
Excellent. Thank you. And then Commissioner Orton has something.
With a little checking, it does appear that is part of the city, but
okay.
If you want to double check.
Yeah,
as well.
Again, when I have an opportunity, I'll bring up the layer of the cities and I'll confirm that.
Great. So at this point, I think we're okay. Secretary of State, do we have a thumbs up? We got a thumbs up. Thank you for helping me, Commissioner Lang. I do believe we are on to Commissioner Collette. No. Zatella. Oh, I apologize, Chair Zatella. Thank you. I wish I had I can't find my notes at the moment. I apologize.
Yes, I'm next, and then Janice. All right, can we go back down to the Westland area? And all right, so can you scroll out just a bit? I just want to see where those red boundaries are right now. So down, but I want to see, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to draw Canton, but I have to readjust Steve's district to draw Canton properly. So we're going to start in Canton with a new district. And I want you to grab, we're going to do precincts.
Do you want me to put a road boundary on or something to help?
Nope, I know it. I live there. I don't need a road boundary. So those bottom 3 precincts in Canton on starting from the eastern edge, if you could select those and assign them. Okay, and then if you can, once the computer is done thinking, if you can scroll into the most western precinct that you just selected. And we're going to need to go down to the block level. Okay, so you see that little block right there that's cut out? I want to put that into 33. Yep, right where your mouse just was. Okay, so let's zoom back out. And we're going to go over to Wayne, and we're going to grab Wayne. And then you're going to need to switch back to precincts. Okay, the top 3 precincts right above Wayne on the westerly edge, assigned to 33. Okay, now in the next row above it, there's 2 and 2. I want you to take those 4 that are right above it. Yep, those 4. Okay, so now you're going to take the next 3, both rows. Yep. And that little part that's to the east, that those 2 blocks there, yep, take those. The ones that are currently in 29, just to be clear. Yep, that.
Sorry, did you want the one that I took or did you?
That's
not
fine,
want
yep,
that?
because I was going to send you to that way anyway.
Okay. Okay.
All right, and so now you're going to wrap around Garden City and take everything but Garden City that's left in Westland. Yep, take that little portion.
Chair Zatella, can I request that you have the Asian dots up or the theme that allows us to see the Asian community?
Yep. John, if you could go ahead and do that, that would be helpful.
Okay.
Okay, so now I want you to grab that one little part that butts up to 15 right above that one precinct that's sort of got the curve lined on it. Looks like a shoe almost. Yep, that one right there. Put that into 33. Okay, so 33 should be good. So now we need to adjust 29 by assigning Garden City into it. Oops. Okay, so now I need you, once it settles, you're gonna go down into Romulus. And you see that diagonal line there? This will be precinct, yeah, precinct base. So follow that diagonal line, put that all into 29. Okay, so that should fix 29 to 35.9% African-American. All right, and so now for 16, we're gonna need to add a little bit to the bottom of Taylor to rebalance that, since I moved some things. So you're gonna grab those top 3 precincts.
I'll put them into 16 just a moment.
Yep, put them into 16, whoops, or to 29, you know. All right, and so then the next 3 below that. So there's one blocky one and 2 diagonal parts, put those in as well. So that precinct, yep. Nope, go up.
Okay, so which one did you not want in?
I didn't want the bottom one. Yep, just the bottom one. And then take that other triangle just to the right of the one that you selected.
This one out or in?
Nope, leave that in, but also, so take off the bottom one.
Okay.
And then take the triangle sitting next to what you currently, yep, that spot right there. Okay. So can you kind of zoom back out so we can see it? All right.
Commissioner Clark has a comment.
Yes.
I just want to understand your logic. I see what you did and I understand that. But one of the other alternatives was just to take all of Canton County or Canton Township. Or why didn't you take that approach?
Because you can't take all of Canton. The population's too high. It's 98,000. And so this way we're taking the portions of Canton that are in the Wayne Westland School District and putting them into the Wayne Westland School District and keeping that district together. And then for Inkster, there's also Inkster actually is split into 4 school districts, including Romulus and the eastern part of Wayne Westland. So it's putting Inkster into the 2 school districts that it's in while still maintaining the VRA percentages.
So a lot of
So
this
that
is
was the
based
thought.
on, a lot of this is based on school districts. So one of the
It's
big
based on
reasons.
school districts. It's based on preserving the VRA population in Inkster. It's based on preserving the Asian population in Canton. Because the way that the district was drawn with Wayne Westland, we were going to have to cut up Canton. There wasn't going to be a way to balance Canton in a way to put that Wayne Westland portion of Canton into Wayne Westland. We would have had to break up the Asian population, which, as you can see in the area of Wayne Westland, it's very minimal.
Correct. Okay, thank you,
So,
Rebecca.
so yeah, I was like trying to hit a couple different communities of interest at the same time while making it easy to keep Canton together as they requested as much as possible.
Thank you, Chair Zatella. We have a thumbs up, which means we are moving on to Commissioner Vallette.
Okay, I want to go a little bit north into Oakland County. The rest of,
I'm putting the
thank you.
townships
Yes.
on. Okay.
Yep. I want to do Highland and Milford.
That would have been my guess.
I'm sorry, what did he say? That was his guess. Oh. And
That's about 36,000 people.
and the rest of Commerce.
Okay, I think that's the balance of commerce there.
And White Lake.
that should be pretty close. Okay. That's 315 people over.
Okay, I'll stop there.
Thank you, Commissioner Villette. Any communities of interest or anything you want to share with the Secretary of State? Can you use your microphone, please?
Great, thank you. These communities are very similar. They cross over each other to shop. There's parks that they use. There's medical facilities. Actually, there's a hospital in White Lake that these facilities all use. So that's one of the school districts. Highland and Milford use Huron Valley Schools. White Lake has part of Huron Valley Schools. They actually have 5 school districts in their township. And Commerce has Huron Valley Schools and Wall Lake Schools. So that's all I have on it.
Are we okay with that, Secretary of State? Thumbs up. Fantastic. Commissioner Wagner, how are you feeling?
Same as yesterday, but I'm going to try this.
Thank you for being with us, and please continue. You have the floor.
Thank you. Gosh. John, can you zoom in on, I think it was Livonia and Novi area?
Okay, so this is Livonia. It has parts in 3 other districts.
Can
Sorry,
you
4.
capture all of what's left of Livonia, and let's see what the population is there, please?
Okay. Okay. Just a moment to switch from townships. Okay, this is the balance of Livonia.
Shy 41,000.
It's 55, almost 56,000.
Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Eid has a thought.
So I was just gonna say, the 17 is still really high in percentage for the African American community. So if we assign all of Livonia right now to 35, it kind of makes it so that we can't make many edits to 17. So yeah, I just want to make everyone aware of that.
Yeah, Commissioner Wagner, I think we, as you, I think also know, you will be able to make adjustments though later. So, yeah. Even though we've got 35 there and Commissioner Wagner's drawing this, I think we still can adjust as needed, just like Commissioner Zatella, right? She adjusted a lot of things and we'll get there. You have the floor, Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you. John, if you could just pan out for just a second, just so I can, okay, thank you. That's gonna put us higher. I'm looking at Northville.
Yeah, Northville and Northville is pretty close to the population you're looking for, or Plymouth and
Well, it makes more sense to do. Except Plymouth. I was looking at Northville. I think I'd be under if I put Plymouth in with Livonia. And I do not recall, does anyone recall if Plymouth and Livonia were a COI?
Commissioner Orton?
I'm not sure about that, but I know that Novi and Northville are, so.
Right.
But I don't know about the others.
Well, let's try Plymouth, John, both of them, please.
that should give you almost exactly the right amount of population.
Yeah, and you're a little bit over, Commissioner Wagner, which is, I think, something that we want because we are relatively under with the other districts we have so thus far.
Right. I've got nothing to add to that.
Excellent. Any questions from, we have a thumbs up from the Secretary of State. Thank you, Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you.
We're on to you, Commissioner Weiss.
Just give me a second here. I'm looking. Now, John, could you go down south farther for a minute? I'm looking at what I want to do here.
South
Down
of
by the
Wayne
border,
and
please.
Monroe. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And also, sorry, I just selected something, but the red lines there reflect some districts that may have been drawn in other plans.
Can we bring that up?
Yeah, so these are districts that were drawn in
That were
other
drawn,
house
okay.
plans. So this red outline is one district that was drawn in a different,
It was drawn on a different before.
yes, a different session of drawing.
Can we just fill that in then and
Well, if you want to, or I guess what I'm saying is it's already been done in another map. I don't know if you want to try to merge those or focus on areas that you've never set pen to.
go back up north a little farther then. See what we have up there. Let's just below 34, District 34. We have Walled Lake, Wixom, Lyons and Novi. Or not Lyons, but just Novi and Wixom and Walled Lake. Could you fill those in?
Okay, so you wanted, did you want Northville towards Novi or not?
I guess I'm not sure yet. So what the population would be. Yeah, I'll probably take part of it and see, do the whole section.
Okay, I'm sorry, let me establish a starting
Sure,
point. So you
go
said
ahead.
Wixom and Walled Lake and Novi?
Yes.
Okay.
That's pretty good, Richard.
Yeah, how about that?
So that's 90,846 within 1%.
Richard, I wondered, I think there is an Asian community within Novi. And I think it may be useful to have the dots, the theme, the Asian theme.
Just gonna ask.
And also you can look at the statistics down below as well.
Yeah, what I'm thinking about is if the choice between Wixom and Walled Lake versus Northville, right? That they're both identify with Novi, and I would just wonder about the Asian population in that area, and so it may be useful to help. Yeah, understand the costs, so to speak, of this certain district.
Anybody have any suggestions? I'm kind of thinking I might leave it that way.
Chair Zatella and then Commissioner Ede.
Yeah, I was gonna suggest putting Northville in with Novi, because we've heard a lot of public comments about Novi and Northville. And they have significant Asian populations across both, and possibly take out Wixom and see where you're at. And then we're not leaving Novi or Northville as sort of an orphan sitting in there by itself.
All right, John, let's give that a try.
So that's the city and township of Northville added in. And then you wanted to take out Wixom. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what I was suggesting. Richard, it's up to you.
Well, I want to try it because obviously you made a comment and it looks interesting.
Okay, so you're about 20,000 overpopulated at this point.
What do you think, Rebecca? What do you want to go from there? What would your suggestion be?
Back off Walled Lake and see where you're at. You're 20 over.
Commissioner
All right,
Weiss,
yeah,
yes?
try that, John.
Okay.
I do the lower part of the lake too, because right now that lake kind of crosses the county line.
Okay.
Yeah, so now you're 22.6% Asian population. So it went up. That's what I thought.
Yeah, that does look much better. 36 looks pretty nice. I just don't know about above it, but I guess I like it. Anybody have any other suggestions? I think I'd stick with that. Thank you, Rebecca.
I like it too, Commissioner Weiss. And I'm guessing we have a thumbs up. We have a thumbs up. All right, and from Chair Zatella as well. Excellent. We are moving on to Commissioner Witches.
Well, let's stay in that same area. We're gonna just grab Walled Lake, Wixom, Lyon Township, and South Lyon City. And then the balance of, yeah, right there, the area of Walled Lake.
Commissioner Eden.
Oh, well, something's happening there. So at this point, I would suggest taking a little bit of that part of commerce that's in between Walled Lake and Wixom, and then making up for that difference at the top of 34, maybe by going into Waterford a little bit. What do you think about that, Janice?
That's fine. Before I do that though, can we add the township that's below, directly south of 37? Salem. Then we can square up Walled Lake right underneath where it says commerce. We'll take the piece that's dipping down into 37. And then that triangle as well. And we'll take the voting precinct, that's the little jut on the left right there. All right, now to fix, oh.
Yeah, it appears that that's one voting precinct. So I'm just gonna move that back out and then look at what you want to do.
Let's add, hold on a minute. Give me a second, I'm thinking. Let's grab the 2109 directly north. Okay, now District 34, let's take a look at what kind of damage happened there. Let's take a couple precincts going into Waterford.
So you want to look at Waterford here?
Yeah, some of the precincts directly to the east of the White Lake border. Commissioner Villette, what do you think about that?
I think they're conferring. Commissioner Witches would like to hear from you. Go ahead.
I know Anthony was saying maybe you might want to take Rose. Rose is very rural. I mean, they're township supervisor moves from the supervisor's house, who's ever doing it. They don't even have a town that you would know. So, but I mean,
That's fine, because I was thinking that was Tyrone actually when I was first looking at it. So let's take Rose for now. And that'll get us at least down to where we're in proper deviation at this particular point. Into 34. 'Cause I do want to stay out of Livingston County at this particular point. I can't see the total population of District 34 now. What is the total population of the precinct that is part of the lower left corner of Springfield Township next to Rose?
Mm, 32.
We'll take the bottom two. I'm gonna call it a day.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Witches. Any questions? We have a thumbs up. All right, so do I see, Secretary of State?
Hi, Commissioner Witches. Could you describe what COIs were considered when drawing this district? Thank you.
Kind of, because I'm taking into communities of interest around it at this particular point, not necessarily the district itself. In a perfect world, I would try, based on what we've drawn so far, I'd put South Lyon in with Novi. However, I'm also cognizant of the fact that Livingston County and Brighton, those particular townships that are in the bottom corner of Livingston County, are indeed a community of interest itself that I do not want to have be changed. And it also allows for a second community of interest in Livingston County to be maintained. Going south into Washtenaw County slightly seemed like the best alternative at this particular point. And that's the only real way I can describe how I was able to take communities of interest into account. And I didn't have much to work with in that particular area.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. We're on to Commissioner Clark. And we do have about a good 20 minutes left, so we're doing well.
Okay. Let's go up to Rochester. We'll take Rochester Hills. Just, yeah. So we're short a little.
Okay.
All right, let's go take Oakland Township. Yeah, take the bottom three precincts that bump up against 38. Yeah.
Let me zoom in so you can
Yeah,
see the
let's see what the
population.
population is.
So you need 2,200. So the 24 would be enough.
Oh yeah, let's not take all three. Boy, let me think where we're at with this. Yeah, let's take the 2470. Let me think about that a little bit. Yeah, I don't want to take the middle one. Absolutely not. Yeah, 2470. Yeah, that's good. So where are we at? 193
Yeah,
over.
you're
That's
right on the money there.
That's good. All right, I'm good with that. And the point I'll make to the Secretary of State is I went into Oakland Township because we needed population, but Rochester Hills is growing north into Oakland Township. So it's more like an extension of Rochester Hills. I'm good with that.
All right. Thank you very much. So we are on to Commissioner Ede.
So no one wants to use their turn to finish up Canton, huh?
You are welcome to do that, sir.
I'm gonna go a different route, actually. Just trying to make a joke. It wasn't that funny. Let's do Waterford, and so take Waterford and then go around what we have for Pontiac and into Auburn Hills, and that should make a district.
Lake Angeles.
Mm-hmm. Oh, actually, it might be a little over. Let's see. Commissioner Clark, how about instead of going into Oakland, you put a little bit of that into like the bottom of Auburn Hills? Evens them both out.
Let me think about that.
Oh yeah, we are pretty under, right?
Yeah,
Being,
we're on, yeah, we're way under. We're like 10,000.
Well, again, that's of the districts that are drawn, not taking into account the other districts you've drawn, which we don't really have a good handle on at this point.
Let's leave it at this point.
all right, I'm good with that.
It's an area we can adjust later. We need to.
Yeah, Waterford's an interesting community. My family's had a business there since before I was born. Oh, we got one more.
Why are we making such an unusual design?
Well, we got to we have Pontiac there, so
Why can't we go north off of Waterford and come down from Orion into Auburn Hills?
we could. There is actually quite in common with Waterford and Clarkston.
Yeah.
So we could do that. I'm just wondering at that point, what would we do with Auburn Hills?
I would come down from Orion and come down.
Well,
I mean, we're making a C. And one of the things that people have repeatedly said to us is they have not to have unusual districts. So, I mean, if there's a good reason, do it.
Commissioner Vallette.
Well, I think that Pontiac has really nothing in common with Bloomfield Hills. I think that they have way more in common with Auburn Hills or Waterford. But I don't know what you do with Bloomfield Hills because it's kind of in a block there, in a circle. But I just think that since Commissioner Lett made a comment about the unusual shape, but I really don't have a suggestion other than the fact that Pontiac has more in common with Waterford than Bloomfield Hills.
Commissioner Clark.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with Janice. Waterford has got a lot in common with Pontiac, in my opinion. Clarkston, which is to the north, Orion, and Oxford, which is north of Orion, and the rest of Oakland Township, to me, would be more appropriate to group together and keep Waterford and Auburn Hills associated with Pontiac.
Commissioner Orton.
Speaking of the Pontiac area, if that was one of the areas with the racially polarized voting, I believe. If we pair it with Auburn Hills and maybe a little bit above, I don't know how far Auburn Hills goes, but a little bit north of Pontiac Auburn Hills area, it can bring up it can balance the racial data a little bit, balance the percentages a little bit.
Anthony, what would you like to do?
Well, I agree that Pontiac has more with Waterford. I think I drew that Pontiac district, and I said that at the time, but we drew it that way because we had the Bloomfield and Bluefield Hills left, and we had VRA considerations to take care of. So that's why we drew it like that. So if we change that now, which we can do if that's what the commission wants to do, but we would then have the rest of Bloomfield Township and Bloomfield Hills without really anywhere to go with them.
And north into Auburn Hills is not a good fit. Right, but Commissioner or Chair Zatella.
Yeah, I was just gonna suggest why not pair that northern part of Bloomfield Hills and Bloomfield Township with Auburn Hills and then put Pontiac with Waterford if that's what people are saying, there's more similarities there. Now you might end up with a really weird district doing that too, because you know, I don't know if the population is going to be enough to make a whole district, and you might have to go up into Lake Orion area. I don't know. You'd have to just play with it and see, but.
Mr. Morgan.
If I may, just to point out that the two districts 30 and 39 in that area have enough population for two districts.
Okay, let's mess with this a little.
Take it away, Mr. E.
All righty. That's actually what I was originally going to do, but then there was a suggestion of, since we had that Bloomfield Hills Township left, to use that. So now that we have this configuration, let's unassign Waterford from the district you have it in, but keep Auburn Hills in it. Can we make note of the percentages before? Oh, yeah, it's fine. Just the percentage for 30 is what we need.
And which percentages are you're making your notes of that?
Yep, non-Hispanic Black, so that's 34.21.
Commissioner Witches.
Just a thought, is there a diagonal division we can potentially do here from Sylvan Lake all the way up to the corner of the District 39 and then basically make it square?
Not really. Pontiac is, then you'd be splitting Pontiac in half, and we don't want to do that.
Well, either way, if we have 39 and 30, the way that they were drawn as two districts, you're going to have to do that anyway.
Well, if we did that, we could try it. I think if we did that, we would majorly reduce that percentage we just got.
Commissioner Orton.
Yeah, and I think we don't want to reduce that because this was identified as the racially polarized voting area.
And I think we've got different socioeconomic areas in here too, right? Is that also a factor?
Yeah, Bloomfield and Bloomfield Hills are, do bring in more income, and Auburn Hills too, than Pontiac and Waterford typically. And then Waterford, goes up. Waterford goes up into Clarkston and Independence. They're all kind of similar.
Okay, Mr. Morgan.
I was just going to clarify what I thought Commissioner Witches said was possibly combining the Bloomfield Hills area with Waterford.
No.
Okay.
No, I was just saying imagine a line from Sylvan Lake up to the corner of 39, straight across, and then make two, whatever shape that is, but they would line up together. I'm not from the area, so I'll yield to whomever knows more than me, but I figured that'd be a nice shape and it would split it equally in both directions.
Commissioner Lett?
I'm just looking at the numbers, but it would appear to me that taking Waterford and going north up into village of Clarkston and Independence would just about make a district, probably a little over. And then going Auburn Hills up into Orion, Lake Orion and Orion would come, might have to go a little further north or east or west. And then you wouldn't have to come back down into Pontiac and Bloomfield Hills and work with those. I mean, I think you can do it by going north.
Oh, Commissioner Clark.
Yeah, I mean, I like the original configuration when we had Waterford in 39, but what are we trying to accomplish by breaking it up? Breaking up what we have in 30 right now.
Chair Zatella?
I think it was in response to Anthony and Janice's feeling that Bloomfield Hills didn't really go with Pontiac and Waterford was a better fit. So I think that's what we were trying to address, is that there was the suggestion that maybe pair Pontiac and Waterford instead of Bloomfield Hills and Bloomfield and Pontiac, which I frankly.
Yeah, I don't know how the numbers would work, but what I would do is
The numbers would work, just to be
bring
clear.
Bloomfield Township and Bloomfield Hills up through Auburn Hills.
Yeah.
And
maybe grab.
maybe not
Lake
all
Orion.
Auburn Hills, maybe just that piece that's headed north and then into Orion Township.
Again, just a reminder to commissioners and consultants not to speak over each other. Thank you.
Commissioner Eid, I'd like to give you back the floor and you continue your experiment.
All right, so now we have this 39 that has Auburn Hills in it. Let's assign Bloomfield Hills and the rest of Bloomfield Township that's north of 22 into it as well.
Okay, so you want to put this portion of Bloomfield Hills and Auburn Hills in one district?
Mhm.
Okay, if I may, just for simplicity, I think if I assign this into District 30 and then assign Pontiac into District
Sure.
39, okay. I'm going to put Lake Angeles there just for the population, just for a moment. And now I can use 39 and just put Pontiac in that by itself. Okay, so we just flip-flop the numbers a little bit. So focusing on 30, the portion of Bloomfield Hills and Bloomfield and Auburn Hills. And that's, you need 30,000 more people. Oh, sorry, 40,000.
So we can get that from Orion, I think, but before we do that, let's look at 39. What's our percentage at now? I can't see it because of the
Right,
subtitles.
so 39 is 30,000 light population.
Okay, I'm talking about the demographic. I think I'm
Okay.
seeing 46.
Yes.
Okay, now let's zoom into that area with Waterford and let's turn on the overlay for the Black population. I think you might be on Asian.
Yeah, I think so too. Just a moment.
Okay, so now let's add the eastern parts of Waterford until we get to until we add 30,000 people. Let's see what that's going to do to the demographics percentage.
Commissioner Clark.
You may want to look at the overlay of the Hispanics over in Waterford Township rather than the blacks.
Let's stick with this. Let's try it and then we'll see.
Do you want to go generally to the south or generally to the north at this point?
Both of them. So going kind of vertically here. I actually know what? No, the south is a better idea because then you compare the north with Clarkston.
Okay, so with all those southern ones, it's over by a little bit.
Okay, but now we've dropped the demographics number a little too much. Because we were at 34% before and now we're at 31%.
For Black voting age population, yep.
What
And-
were we at for minority population?
Well, I don't know about minority, but we have increased the Hispanic population because it was at 13.6 and now we're at 14.6.
Right, so we don't know if those are cohesive yet, but that's something that we can explore. Chair Zatella
So-
has something.
Yeah, Anthony, you had 34.21 Black, 5.26 Asian, 13.64 Hispanic. So you lost some Asian, gained some Hispanic, lost some Black.
Well, I'm wondering if we can, which precincts in Waterford have the highest density of African Americans?
The highest one seems to be about 12%.
And where's that one? Okay, so
Here.
we already have that one assigned.
Yep.
Let's see, what else is around there? Do you understand what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to unassign essentially the low ones and add in the high ones to try to edge that percentage up to what we were at before.
I don't think there are any high ones because the dots are so small, except for maybe right over there. And that's still only 11.7.
Well, assign that precinct and see what it would do.
Okay, you're already overpopulated.
Yeah,
All right.
we'll have to take out a lower one.
Any precinct that's under 31.88 is going to lower your percentage.
But now I think I saw one close to that border that had a percentage lower than 11. Sorry, the eastern border there. I think it was that precinct with 4,104 people.
Okay. That's 15%, so no.
Maybe it was the one to the left of it.
12%.
Hmm.
4.
Oh, okay. So unassign that one.
Okay.
Okay, so that brought us to 32 from 31. So we're increasing a little bit. And what we were at 34 before, correct?
Yeah, correct, 34.2. Chair Zatella.
One of the things that Mr. Adelson had mentioned to me too was to achieve voters' rights compliance, you can slightly underpopulate as well. So maybe just taking off some of Waterford might get you higher. If you're like, say you're 2,000 under instead of 2,000 over, you might be able to get there just taking off population.
It does. So what do we want to take off then would be the question. And we'd want to take off probably the ones with the lower density to increase the overall density. Can you hover over the Oakland Airport? It's the one on the top left above. Yep, right there.
Just a moment. I had the assign tool on.
If you unassign that 3652, you'll be basically 1,000 under and the percentage will go up.
Okay, let's unassign that. All right. Okay, I'm fine with that percentage. Now let's zoom out a little bit. Let's go back to District 30 and let's add the township on top of it. Okay, I think that's generally what I was going for. We're a little low on population, both in District 39 and in 30. For 39, as Chair Satella said, if that helps us get VRA compliance, that's okay. But I'm wondering, do we want to add to 30?
Commissioner Clark?
You know, one of the things you might look at is the Black population in 30 that's just north of Pontiac. That might increase and take that out of 30 and put it in, I don't know what the Black population is.
Yeah, let's check the precincts directly north.
Yeah, there's two of them. Well, one's a lake, which is a small population, but still.
16%.
So if we add that in, what would that do to the overall?
It'll bring it down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bring
it's
it
gonna
down?
bring it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Okay,
anything
not a
that's
good-
below the value of the district
Not a
number
good
will bring it
approach.
down.
But if we exchanged it with a different precinct down below that had a lower
Correct.
than 16, it would increase it overall.
If it has similar population overall.
Well, I wonder if we can find that.
We can pick up with you again tomorrow too, if you'd like to sort of think about it tonight and
Oh, we're out of time, aren't we?
yeah, I mean, we're not out of time. We're doing well. I think we're mapping and we're doing well. Do you want to go?
Yeah, we can pick up on this tomorrow. But I do think this is a much better configuration for both communities than what we had before. We still have about the same number of non-Hispanic Black voting age population, which is the reason why we drew it the original way. Only now the communities of Waterford and Pontiac go together, which they do go together. You can, we're not exactly covering M59 right now, but if you just take M59 eastbound, it's like the border. No one really knows where the border of Waterford and Pontiac is, especially when you get down to the Telegraph area. They really, especially as my lifetime has gone on, it's been a community that had become more cohesive as one, and it didn't always used to be that way. So I like this configuration a lot more. And it also, Auburn Hills goes much more with Bloomfield and Bloomfield Hills than Bloomfield and Bloomfield Hills going with Pontiac.
Thank you, Commissioner Eid. The Secretary of State has a comment.
Just a question, actually. In your configuration here, you mentioned that you felt that Pontiac and Waterford and I believe it was Auburn Hills and Bloomfield Hills go together better. Can you elaborate, or other commissioners who are familiar with the areas, can you elaborate what you mean by that, or what specific COIs exist within these communities that would connect them? Thank you.
Yeah, I think I think economics would be one of the main factors here. Bloomfield and Bloomfield Hills have a much higher average median income, and so does Auburn Hills than Pontiac does, while Pontiac is the average income of Pontiac we'll find is much closer to the average income of Waterford. So that'd be the first thing. And I think historically as well, there's much more in common with Waterford and Pontiac by virtue of sharing main highways that go into each other.
Thank you, Commissioner Eid. So we'll pick up with you at the as we start again tomorrow. And that concludes our mapping, and I'll hand it back over to Chair Zatella.
Thank you. All right, let me look at my agenda real quick. Okay, so we do not have any new business to discuss at this time, and we don't have any meeting minutes to approve. We have no staff reports. Sarah Reinhardt, do you have any Michigan Department of State reports?
I do not.
Okay, so we do not have any updates from Michigan Department of State. So in terms of correspondence, we've received correspondence in advance of our meeting today. It was provided along with written public comment submissions to the commissioners in their meeting materials. Do we have any future agenda items to discuss? None.
Not at this time.
Okay, any announcements from anybody? All right, seeing no announcements. As the items on the agenda are completed and the commission has no further business, a motion to adjourn is in order. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Witches,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Rothorn. All in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, please raise your hand and say nay. The ayes prevail. The meeting is adjourned at 7:57 p.m. Thank you, everybody, and have a